Hey fam, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications. 3 months ago, we had the Fulton County DA on this show because he wanted to call federal agents to testify in the case of Jamarion Robinson, who was shot 76 times as police tried to serve 2 arrest warrants for aggravated assault on a law enforcement officer. Folks, there were 14 law officers who were on the scene that day of the shooting from 8 different law enforcement agencies. The family has filed a lawsuit saying that the officers conspired among and between themselves to unreasonably stop, seize, shoot, and injure Jamarion Robinson in violation of his constitutional rights to destroy and fabricate evidence, to complete false, inaccurate, and misleading reports, and to make false statements to superior officers in order to conceal their wrongdoing. Well, I got an email this week from members of the Robinson family say they saw that we were covering this story, and his mother, Monteria Robinson, she wanted to speak. And so she joins us right now, along with Rashid McCall, senior investigator for Operation Research. The family hired him to look into this case. Monteria, first and foremost, our thoughts and prayers go to you for the loss of your son. I also appreciate your family reaching out to me directly to have you on the show, and we certainly we're glad to have you on. It's been 3 months since the Fulton County DA came out and said he wanted to bring them in for questioning. Then he had to withdraw those subpoenas. The federal government put pressure on him, saying you cannot question federal law enforcement officers. That has to be troubling to say that somehow that they cannot be held accountable or even dare to question for an act that left a man dead.
Correct. And I don't know if you know a whole lot about my son. My son, his name is Jamarion Robinson. You know, he was a student athlete at the time of his death. He attended Tuskegee University. He was a biology major. He was actually in his final semester. And with all of that being said, just the fact that it has been, almost 3 years. We had 2 years and 9 months with no accountability. And these officers are still out in the, controlling our streets. They're in the community. We want them off the streets. They should not be out here protecting and serving the public, because realistically, it's like I don't even know what to say. It just doesn't make any sense. Why are they still working? Why are they still out here in our community patrolling our streets? We're not safe as long as they're out here in our community.
Rashid, you are a senior investigator working on this. What have you been discovering?
Yes, senior investigator with Opposition Research, Investigative, and Protective Services. This is one of the most heinous cases that I have investigated in my 21-year career. It's beneficial for people to get the scope of what happened if they went online and looked at the video that I uncovered. And it was only with the video was I able to determine that this was not a shootout, the false narrative that they originally gave, but this was an execution. So when you go back and look at that video, the video opens up with, "Let me see your hands." And it's followed immediately with automatic fire. And that automatic fire, in addition to other shots, continue in excess of 3 minutes before a flashbang is thrown, which, if you understand that type of ordnance, it blows out your hearing and your eyesight. And then there's a lull. And when you watch the video in terms of that lull, you see these police officers on the outside, because the video is shot from an outside perspective, but they're outside just chilling. And we know police officers just don't chill in a gunfight. After that lull, you hear the video ending with automatic fire. And once that video was discovered and analyzed, I went back up to the top of that landing, cut open the carpet, and actually found the bullets that ended the video. Those were promptly taken to a ballistic expert. We compared them up under a microscope and determined that those were bullets that are consistent with bullets that are carried by law enforcement. And we even traced those bullets back to the weapon that they were fired from, which is an MP5 made by Heckler & Koch, which is a weapon system select fire that is normally carried by military and law enforcement. So when all this evidence was put together, it was clear that Jamarion did not participate in the shootout, that he was executed. And once he was shot with that last volley of gunfire, to add insult to injury, he was handcuffed and dragged down 20 steps and thrown into the living room to die out, as they hoped this story would. And that is egregious.
Monteria, I want to ask you, the fact that you had 8 law enforcement agencies, 14 officers serving a couple of warrants, and for them to literally ignore a district attorney who wanted to investigate this and ordering folks, he accused the Department of Justice of trying to sweep this under the rug.
That's absolutely correct. You know, as Rashid indicated, you know, there was not a search warrant, number one. This was not a federal crime. This was actually a state crime. After they shot and killed my son, and I'm going to give you a little details, my son was shot 6 times in the palm of his right hand, 5 times in the palm of his left hand. He was shot all down his arms, his torso, his thighs, his groin, his shins, his feet. As he stated, flash grenades were thrown, landing on his body. He was handcuffed and he was dragged down a flight of stairs. With all of that being said, I'm sorry, my phone is beeping in.
It's okay, go ahead.
With all of that being said, you know, this was a heinous act committed against my son, and we deserve accountability. You know, an officer's job is to assess a situation, de-escalate, and resolve the issue, not come with prejudice. And on that day, it didn't matter whose son it was. Just so happened on that day, it was my son.
Absolutely. And I think we have to be clear in terms of this intergenerational violence, right, that is visited on us each generation. Our grandparents' generation, it was Emmett Till, right? And Jet helped to expose that, and that united the civil rights movement. It gave push and purpose to the civil rights movement. In my parents' generation, it was Mark Clark and Fred Hampton who were assassinated up in Chicago. And, you know, when you talk about that incident, you have to talk about Assata Shakur and all the other people who disappeared, never to be heard from again today, and those who had to go into political exile, or those who were framed for murders that they didn't commit, like Geronimo Jijaga. So for our generation, we're dealing with the same issue. And this is a prime example in terms of Jamarion Robinson's case. This is intergenerational violence that has to stop. All right. Black lives matter. And we have to hold these officers, as well as any other officers that serve and protect our community, accountable.
Well, Monteria Robinson and Rashid McCall, we appreciate both of you. Feel free to keep us updated on your civil suit, and we'll certainly stay on top of this case as well.
Thank you for having us.
All right.
Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you so very much.
Support Roland Martin Unfiltered. Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.